Yeah. Peace, grace, and mercy to the bruise in the chat. We dive deep in the word where the wisdom at. Neighborhood Hebrews, we bringing light to the blind. Yeah. Late night, but the spirit still punch like a rock. Yeah. Peace, grace, and mercy. Yeah, that's the code. Oh, we walking through the word on this narrow road. The harsh on the mic, revelation insight. Stay tuned, fam. Stay tuned, fam. Scripture Sundays at night. Yeah. Scripture Sundays at night. Yeah. Scripture Sundays at night. Topics from the heart, from the struggle, from the streets. Scripture with the stats, we connect what it means. Real talk, no fluff, truth seasoned with flame. We reason through the verses till we call out his name. The comments be lit, the chat, yeah, we gotta reach to. One body, one mind, we just building the bruise. When that truth hit your chest, let the spirit ignite. The Scripture Sundays at night. The Bruce Leroy got that glow in the fight. Peace, grace, and mercy, yeah, that's the code. Oh, we walking through the word on this narrow road. Direct on the mic, revelation inside. Stay tuned, fam. Stay tuned, fam. Oh, Scripture Sundays at night. Oh, Scripture Sundays at night. Scripture Sundays at night. I pledge allegiance to the Bible of the house of Yahshua, for which it stands, one nation under Yahweh. I'll make it a lamp unto my feet and a light to my path. I will hide your word in my heart, that I may not sin against it. For in your word is freedom and redemption to the house of Yahshua. Yahweh, in the name of Yahushua, I pray and rebuke every spiritual curse that has come upon me. In my household, whether visible and or generational else, let every chain be broken today, and let evil have no right to enter. Yahweh, I declare that our spouses, our children, and our families are covered by the blood of Yahushua. Build a spiritual wall of protection around us, so that no curse or tide or strife can enter our home. In Yahushua's name, Yah the Barak Yahweh.
Peace, grace, and mercy, y'all. Appreciate y'all sliding through to Scripture Sundays at Night with your neighborhood Hebrew. Tonight's episode, is the Bible patriarchal because the Most High made it that way, or because men abused it? So ladies, y'all might want to tune in because y'all feel like y'all gonna get y'all some tea. Brothers, hey, it's time to get some correction if you're moving out of order. And for everybody else in the in-between, you already feel this way. So we have to get the understanding of Yahweh's divine order versus man's corruption, and why matriarchy cannot produce righteous community. I know we all grew up with granny, moms, everybody, got the aunties and all that. And we need y'all. We need granny. We need the nanas, the Medias. We need the mimis, the yayas. We need y'all. We need the aunties. We need the moms, we need the sisters, we need y'all. But it's not from the rulership of running the family, running the community, running the nation. Because we need strong men to set the foundation. And if you notice, a lot of women who actually move in these areas or are good in these areas, they learned it from a man. So it just sucks that, that man isn't still around to, continue things going on. So let's look at a few things before we get started. So in modern society, it claims partnership, right? That word partnership always pisses me to the highest festivity, because that didn't come from, a man and woman relationship. That didn't come from biblical understanding and even ideology out of the Bible, right? But modern society calls it a 50-50 dynamic, a partnership, almost like a business transaction, a business deal. But that's what they think is ideal. But the word partner is a modern Western invention, which was rooted in, yes, you already know, it was rooted in feminist ideology, redefining roles. So partnership, okay? And it also came from, that's right, you guessed it again, the alphabet, the gay, lesbian community. That's where it comes from. And they use it, in the sense of, partner, since they can't actually say this is, my husband or my wife biologically. So they use the term partner. So when you mention, you're looking for a partner, it's usually women that say this too. I'm looking for a partner. And then, simp men took this same thing and, oh, well, I'm just looking for a partner to, to go through life with. Man, shut the hell up. Shut the hell up. You sound like a fool. You sound like a straight fool, a nincompoop. You sound like a nincompoop, okay? The women usually say this because, again, they get it from a feminist mindset. So they either want to be independent or they have a large gay community that they kick it with, and they get these terms. When you kick it around people, you start to talk like them and act like them. When you start to consume certain content, you start to take that in and you start to move like that, okay? This mindset destroys biblical order, y'all, because the Bible never teaches partnership. It does not teach partnership. It teaches hierarchy, which is there's a pecking order to everything, okay? There's order, there's mission, and team rules, okay? Not a partnership, it's a team, okay? So instead of partners, scripture shows something far more effective and righteous. So I'm gonna give y'all my little breakdown, which is the kingdom team structure. So just rock with me, walk with me for a little bit, talk with me for a little bit. So first, you got the Most High Yahweh. He's the owner of the team, okay? Then you have the Messiah, Yahusha. He is the general manager of the team. Then you have the man. He is the head coach of the team. Then you have the woman, okay? The woman is the star player or the franchise player of the team. Then you have the children. This is the supporting cast of the team. Okay, so you had Jordan, and even though Pippen was just as good, but hey, the rest of the team is a supporting cast. The team is built off of Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan. Okay, off of that bleeds what? Championships. All right, that's just in it. And you can use whoever else you want to use. And if I didn't give you the right kind of example, whatever, you get the kingdom team structure. Okay, a team cannot have two coaches, right? It cannot have two coaches. Now people want to say, oh, well, LeBron is a player coach. He's a player. He's the star franchise player. So yes, he has a lot of pull on the team, but he's not the coach. All right. A team cannot have two franchise players fighting for control. This is where we've seen the whole hiccup with Kobe and Shaq. Okay? Because there's an issue, there's a power struggle going on because it's two dominant figures, right? Two alphas. And that's another thing y'all sisters need to go look into that. Sis, you are not an alpha. You are not an alpha. Especially if you're in a heterosexual relationship, you are not an alpha. The man leads. You do not lead that man. If you want a relationship where you can lead and control, hey, you probably dealt with some gay and lesbian stuff, and that's probably where you get that from. Or the feminist mindset, the independent woman mindset. You got to release that so your household can run right. Okay? A team succeeds when everyone knows their role and flows in order. This is why You always hear a man saying, get in your place. Know your role. It's not disrespect. You take it as disrespect and you try to get rah-rah with the man. No, it's not about the rah-rah. He's actually trying to set it back in order. Now, he probably could have said it a different way, but at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You need to know your role and you need to follow it so everything else can flow in order. This is what the Most High wanted. Who gives a damn what you want? Okay? And this goes for sisters and brothers alike. If y'all moving out of order, you can now see why it's out of order. So now let's get into the first segment of the show. Patriarchy exists because the Most High Yahweh established structure. That's the first segment of the show. So we're going to jump into this first scripture is what we're going to start off and end it off with. So you know we're going to that order. 1 Corinthians 11:3. Now y'all know what I do. I read it out the GNT. So it's easy for you and it's even easier for me. Okay? So this is 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I want you to understand that the Messiah is supreme over every man. So do we have an understanding? Over every man, he has a head. That head is the Messiah, which is the word of the Most High. Okay, so the word of the Most High governs over the man. The man or the husband is supreme over his wife or the woman. So the man who's governed by the word is supreme over the woman. Now, women, let's just have a quick sidebar understanding discussion real quick. If you chose a ratchet ass nigga, a no good man, and you think that you're better than this man, but you chose to be with him, you still fall under this. So you still need to follow that man because you chose to be with him. You need to first Peter that thing and actually win him over by your conduct. But I digress. So the husband or the man is head or supreme over his wife because he's walking after the word. So now the woman should walk after the man, not question the man every time he does something because she might not like it or she may disagree and this and that and that and this. Y'all already know how I feel about submission, or what I think about submission, rather than feelings. Because we know we don't really deal with the feelings like that, even though there's nothing wrong with feelings, but we don't want to deal with the feelings. We want to deal with actually thinking logically through these things. So the man is supreme over his wife, and the Most High Yahweh is supreme over the Messiah. All right, over Yahusha. So now we have a clear basis of understanding of, okay, we're starting somewhere. And then we, you know what I'm saying, that right now we stepping into the kitchen and we cooking. Okay, so now come cook with me. So now let's go over to Genesis, right? So just before we move to Genesis, so you guys have a clear understanding, 1 Corinthians 11:3 is the exact structure of authority. I don't know if y'all heard me way back there in the back. It's the exact structure of authority. All right, now we're moving on. Let's go to Genesis chapter 2, verses 18 through 23. Then the Most High Yahweh said, "It is not good for man to live alone. I will make a suitable companion to help him." A suitable companion, not a partner, a suitable companion to help him. Not be right side by side. Oh, you do this and I do this, and you do this and I do this. Yeah. No. You sit your toxic masculine feminine ass down. Hey, let's fall into order, okay? A suitable companion to help him. So he took some soil from the ground and formed all the animals and all the birds. Then he brought them to the man to see what he would name them. And that is how they all got their names. So the man named all the birds and all the animals, but not one of them was a suitable companion to help him. So you know how they always say, dog is a man's best friend? That's because you're talking about depressed simp men. Yes, love dogs. I do. But no, that's not a suitable companion because that dog is just a beast. You need the opposite to fill the void. Okay? Suitable companion. Then the Most High Yahweh made the man fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took out one of the man's ribs and closed up the flesh. He formed a woman out of the rib and brought her to him. Then the man said, "At last, here is one of my own kind. Bone taken from my bone and flesh from my flesh. Woman is her name because she is taken out of man." Can you dig that? Okay, so woman was created with specific purpose under an existing mission. So women, you were created under something that was already established already. So going forward in your lives, you need to attach yourself to the man who is already in purpose and follow his mission. This is why, I don't know if y'all seen that clip that's been going around with the pop the balloon, when the brother was asking the woman about, what she likes on dates and all this and all that. She says, no, I'm stepping into your world. That's right, because you step into the man's world. When you get married, you take the man's last name. When you have his children, you're having his legacy, his lineage. When your daughter gets married, she goes off into another man's house. Okay? Another man's house. That's not of this family, this particular house. She goes to another man's house. She goes into his world. Ladies, ask yourself a question. If you got a man, or if you have a chance to get a man, or if you had a chance to start all over again, wouldn't you rather a man bring you into his safe place where he has his protection up? He says, okay, all this is yours. I built all this and all this. This is all for you. Think about it. While you're thinking about it, I'm going to keep on moving. We're going to Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 23 through 25. For a husband or a man has authority over his wife. We just read that in 1 Corinthians. For a man or a husband has authority over his wife or woman, just as the Messiah, Yahusha, has authority over the church. So the man has the same authority over his wife, just like the Messiah had over his people. And the Messiah, Yahusha, is himself the savior of the church, his body. So wives, women, must submit themselves completely to their husbands, their men, just as the church submits itself to the Messiah, Yahusha. So, ladies, you need to understand this. You submit to your man as if he is the Messiah, because the man submits to the Messiah. Do you see the order in that? But see, a lot of you guys will disrespect your man. You'll even disrespect your man even before that level. You'll say, oh, well, he ain't like my dad. I ain't gonna never respect no man more than my dad. You're disrespecting the Most High. You're disrespecting the Messiah. You're disrespecting your man when you say that, when you move like that. Okay? This is why, because the scripture goes against everything you're thinking about. Okay? Verse 25. Husbands, men, love your wives, your women, just as the Messiah loved the church and gave his life for it. Okay? This is why a man, when he accepts and wants to move forward with a woman in a covenant, in a marriage, and wants her to be his, he's ready to put his life on the line for you. That's how a man moves biologically, because whatever is his, he will die for. That's why you see men not want to give up their wallet, their cars. If they get robbed, a man will go tooth and nail for whatever is his. Now, is that wise on everything? No. But that's just biologically a man. That's how we are built. If it's mine, it's mine. And a lot of you women, especially in modern time, you say, well, I ain't nobody's. I ain't nobody's property. You are that man's property. And you would want to be that man's property if you want him to really put his life on the line. Because if you're really not his property, if you really don't belong to him, see, because when y'all think about property, y'all for some reason, I don't know who hurt y'all, but you think slavery. You think the worst of the worst. You instantly forget that we're reading the Bible and we're talking about the Bible, because you keep listening to worldly things, worldly podcasts, worldly women talking about their situations, but they ain't never healed themselves because they ain't came back to the Most High. They keep going to these therapists that keep taking their money and just keep telling them to go work out and do yoga and shit, but they're not following what the Most High says about rebuking these spirits and getting these devils off them and repenting and changing their lives and taking accountability. But yet and still y'all keep stuffing all of y'all trauma and y'all pain in y'all pockets and y'all purses, and then y'all think that by all these trinkets and materialistic things that y'all are growing. You are not growing. You are declining, and you're declining fast because you're moving out of order. I'm gonna keep moving. Hey, we cooking today. I'm telling you, this show. I say class because I do class and shows, but this show we cooking. So understand this. For more clarification, if you didn't get it, in Ephesians chapter 5, the man leads like the Messiah. That's why you gotta respect him, woman, like he is the Messiah, because he's leading like the Messiah. What is he doing? He's sacrificial, right? And he's coaching. So he's a sacrificial coach, not an authoritarian. He's not a tyrant. Okay, he's not a tyrant. Now, of course, a man will slip. Sometimes, that lion will come out. But if he's a spiritually grounded man, or if you're a spiritually grounded woman who's carrying and walking in her femininity, you can talk him down, right? You can bring him out with that softness. You can bring him down. You can bring that roar down to just, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all a man really wants is that comfort. If you bring that comfort to a man, you're going to be A-okay. Now, y'all see the red book right there. Didn't mean to flip y'all off. Right there. The Apocrypha is what we're going into, and we're going to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus. Sirach. We're starting off in chapter 7, verses 23 through 25. Okay, it says, if you have sons, educate them. Teach them self-discipline while they are young. So if you have sons, educate them and teach them self-discipline, because you need self-discipline. All right? You got to be able to control yourself. A lot of you women, when I'm talking about all these different things, you bring in examples of men who are not self-disciplined. Okay? This is what we're talking about. Just reminding you yet again. It's the scriptures doing it. Okay? Verse 24. If you have daughters, keep them virtuous. Keep them capable of following order. Whose order? The Most High's order. And he tells women to follow their men. And don't be too indulgent with them. A lot of you mothers, you want the father to be so involved in certain ways in the children's lives. But the scriptures tell us that we need to be involved. The man needs to be involved in the children's lives a certain way. Okay? The boys need to be educated and taught in self-discipline, which is getting tough, working through their feelings, working out their stuff. Okay? The daughters need to be taught by the fathers how to be virtuous and capable, meaning follow instructions and be submissive. Be agreeable to a man, okay? And it says not too indulgent with them, which means I can't be having all these back and forths, playing around with you and all that. No, I got to keep you serious, because I need to prepare you as my daughter to be married by a man who is of good standing. Not one who's rich, but a man who's of integrity. Because I'm building up a daughter who is capable and who has integrity, who has good character. Verse 25, when you give your daughter in marriage, you see, you have finished a great task, but give her to a sensible man. This is why men need to raise up their daughters a certain way. So women, back up, do your nurturing thing, do your mommy thing, but do your thing. Stop stepping over the line, because you are the star player. You are the franchise player. Stop coming to the coach and telling him how to run the team. No, stop doing that. You got to stay in your place, in your role, and the man stays in his role. So all these are instructions, not just for y'all, women and men, but me too. Okay, so we rocking through this thing together. Okay, let's go down to Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 26, verses 1 through 3. It says, the husband of a good wife or a good woman is a fortunate man. He will live twice as long because of her, because she's a capable, virtuous woman. She was taught how to be this way from her father. That's why we read first in chapter 7, because it says that this daughter, obviously this good wife or this good woman, she was raised to be virtuous or capable. Okay, to be submissive, to be agreeable with her man, to follow her man. Okay, so by growing up like that, what happens? She is able to have a great life with a fortunate man, and now this man is having a great long life because she is bringing in things in his life that she learned from her father to make his life prosperous. Okay, and that benefits her in the long run. She gets the benefit in the long run. Okay, verse 2, a fine wife, a fine woman is a joy to her husband, to her man. She's a joy, and he can live out his years in peace. So now there's peace because of how she was raised, and she's staying in the order in which she was raised by her father, following the word of the Most High. Okay, verse 3, a good wife is among the precious blessings given to those who fear the Most High. I say it again, a good woman is among the precious blessings given to those who fear the Most High. A lot of you women are not this. Now, I ain't saying you can't be, but you're going to have to cut off close to 80 to 90% of who you are now. How you think, what you believe in, how you move in, how you conduct yourself. You got to cut most of that off. That's why you think you're better as being a leader, or you're better as the foundational stability in your family, because you aren't following what the Bible says. And I know a lot of y'all don't even know what the Apocrypha is, but get you one. They like $10, $12, man, on Amazon. Get you one. It's the missing. So imagine this is on the bottom, this is the Old Testament. This is the New Testament. Just imagine, just for example purposes, right? This Apocrypha is what bridges these together. So you need this. And look at what kind of knowledge and wisdom is coming out of here. So you got to get it. You got to get it. All right. So just a recap on that. In Sirach, order in the household brings blessings. So a lot of y'all want to hurry up and rush to it. A lot of y'all want to rush to be married, but you were never a wife to begin with. Even before you got this so-called ring or the so-called contract or the covenant, you weren't a wife before. But for some reason, y'all think y'all can just flick on the light switch and you become this glorious wife with this glorious husband. Meanwhile, you just been acting like a funky. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to stay away from too much of the cussing, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But you know what it is, right? You know what it is. So go read Sirach 26 and 25 and see what your self-will will get you. You know what I mean? And who knows, man? Look, I'm probably going to say it sometime during the show any damn way. You know what I mean? So what are the points here? So the owner, the Most High Yahweh, he establishes the organization. That's first. Then the GM, the Messiah Yahusha, sets the strategy and identity of what things are going to look like and how things are going to go. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Okay. That's the word doing that, setting all the strategy and identity. Okay. Now the coach is the man. The man executes the game plan. Remember, he has the purpose. He's the mission. Okay. So the purpose, okay, this is what we're going to do. Now the mission is to get to the kingdom, get to the championship. So now each game, each practice, we got to do these things. And we got to make sure we're doing these things so it's second nature, right? The star player is the woman. She makes the plays happen and increases the scoreboard. So what the man or the coach puts into play before he leaves the house is, okay, y'all, we got to huddle up. All right, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. All right, everybody know what their roles is? The wife says, yes. Star player says, yeah, I got it. Yep, give me the ball. Boom, give her the ball. Now she's looking at the children. All right, y'all know what it is. I'm finna hit you with assist, All right. And the husband, the man, he said, all right, y'all, I'm gonna meet y'all back at sundown. Sundown, we finna eat together, talk it out, and hey, we gonna enjoy each other because we gonna enjoy this victory of the day. Okay, that's the game plan. Okay, and the children develop under this structure to become strong future player or coaches. All right. This is what it is, okay? This is righteous patriarchy. It's not abuse. But if y'all keep looking at it from a victim mindset, most of y'all ain't really been through shit. Most of y'all are going off of what somebody else went through, and this been your sister or this been your partner. This been somebody that you know, or you've been following, you know, these social medias and stuff, and you just hearing all this stuff, but you ain't really been through the shit. You know what I'm saying? That's the issue. Let's jump on over to segment 2. This is like it's gonna be a long class, man. A long class. You know what I'm talking about? Because yeah, it's gonna be a long one. But so segment 2, abuse of power is not biblical patriarchy. Okay? The abuse of power is not. Okay? Men who abuse their roles are not patriarchs. These are rebels. These are degenerates. Do you understand me? Now we're gonna go to Genesis 3 and 16. It says, he said to the woman, I will increase your trouble in pregnancy and your pain in giving birth. In spite of this, you will still have desire for your husband, yet you will be subject to him. So now you can look at this, you know, a couple different ways. So when it says you still have desire for your husband, in a lot of ways, this can be taken as the woman now feels like, okay, she could do things better. Right? So she actually doesn't desire him. She desires to be in his position for the position that he was given. Or you could say, okay, yeah, she desires to be with him, right? But she desires to be with him, but for him to love her and do the things that she wants him to do. This is why when you hear about certain arguments and stuff like that, it'd be like, oh, well, I want you to do it, but without me telling you to do it. So you want this man to be a damn mind reader? Niggas ain't supposed to be in no sorcery. So me reading your mind, I can't do that. So going back to the scripture, it says you will still have desire for your husband, yet you will be subject to him. So now that's the problem, that you are now subject to him. So that means, again, you look at this because it was a curse. So now this is the Most High setting things back in order because Eve walked off and wasn't subject to Adam like she was supposed to be, because it was already said that she was supposed to be his helpmate. which means she was already supposed to be subject to him. Now the Most High is doubling down and saying, hey, you will be subject to him. He's saying it plain, because a lot of women act like, oh, they didn't hear you the first time, or, oh, they don't know. Now, all of a sudden, because they got all these damn college degrees, so they say, and all this education and training and all this stuff, but now for some reason, they playing stupid and they don't know what words mean. So now, when we look at a biblical, righteous book, and it's saying to be subject or to submit to, you take that as colonization and slavery and whatnot. That's what you take it as. So you need to understand that the Most High was getting Eve back in the order that she was supposed to be from the beginning. It's just doing what the owner of the team does. Things moving out of Ray, got to get it back straight. Okay? So harsh ruling came after sin. It wasn't before. So a lot of you women, you play victim and you get all emotional when the man responds to your disrespect. So again, here's sin. So after the sin, there was a harsh ruling. Before the sin, there was nothing. It was cool. We kick back and we chilling. But women, do you ever really remember when the man was speaking to you softly and, calmly and, hey, babe, you know what I'm saying? All this and that. No, you don't. You don't hear that. All you do is tap into your trait neuroticism. You think about only the negative things. You attach yourself to only the negative things. We were all born with that, right? Okay. Oh, well, oh yeah, we had a great summer, but I did get my ass whooped because I didn't do this and I messed up real bad. It wasn't the fact that you got your ass whooped, it was the fact that you messed up real bad, but you're not taking accountability for that. And you only blaming it or blaming your trauma or your depression, whatever it is, on what happened to you after the result of what happened after. Okay? So we got to understand, okay? Harsh ruling came after you fucked up. Okay? Not before. Before, it's all good. Okay? So this is not abuse. This is a man trying to come in and get it straight. The man's trying to say, hey, look, we need to fix this. So I'm dropping the hammer. I'm putting my foot down. This is what it's going to be. Okay? So now let's go over to Jeremiah chapter 23, verses 1 and 2. How terrible will be the Most High's judgment on those rulers who destroy and scatter his people. So the Most High is going to have a harsher judgment for those who are teaching, who are ruling, and who scatter the people. So I'm sitting in a seat where I teach. It doesn't matter how many follow or not follow, listen or don't listen, it doesn't matter. There's a harsher judgment. This is why I try to stick to things that make sense to the Most High in his word. Excuse me. Okay? So regardless if y'all like it or not, I'm sticking to objective truth. Like I said, I'm learning too. As I teach, I learn. Okay? It's the same thing. All right? Verse 2, it says, this is what the Most High Yahweh of Israel says about the rulers who were supposed to take care of his people. You have not taken care of my people. You have scattered them and driven them away. Now I am going to punish you for the evil you have done, because it's evil to move in this manner. The Most High, he judges unrighteous men who lead severely. Okay? If you lead and you're leading it unrighteously, he's going to judge and punish you severely. It might not come right now, but on judgment, it's coming, brothers. So y'all better get your act together, because the Most High is not playing with you. So now y'all see how easily I could just say that to men. I don't have to go into breaking it down, because men, they get it. Why? Because most men take accountability. Most women do not. That's a fact. You can see that everywhere. All right, now we're going back into Sirach. We're going to chapter 4, verse 30 and 31. Don't act like a lion at home. Just for the brothers. Don't be running around the house trying to... Now, sisters, again, this brother was not always like this. And if he was always like this, again, you agreed to be with him. So, but most men are not like this. Most men get like this because you women don't follow the instructions. So now he's reacting to your sin. He's reacting to your bad behavior. These are the results, okay? But it says, don't act like a lion at home or be suspicious of your servants. Don't stick out your hand to get something if you're going to be tight-fisted when the time comes to pay it back. So, you can't be just off top, just roaring and yelling at everybody. You're always angry. You're always in a bad mood and all of these things. And then don't be like that and be suspicious of, oh, you did this, who did that, who did this, who did that, who did that. So as a man of the house, you need to come in, yeah, of course, assess the situation, you know what I mean? But this is where the women come into play, right? If a man is like this, man, you need to fix it because you're out of pocket. You're actually disturbing the peace of your home, especially if your woman is a good woman and she's handling her business, she's capable and she's virtuous, all right? Now, women, if you know that you aren't this way, these are things that you need to fix so that way you can help this man not be this roaring lion in the house, all right? That way his spirit and his temperament can be, calm when he comes in the house, okay? And men aren't supposed to be stingy. We're supposed to be ready to give, right? We're supposed to be ready to give because remember, the Most High commands us in his law that we are to be generous and to give. So how be more than in your household or when your family and friends need something, all right? So don't be, brothers, men, niggas too. Don't be a tyrant or oppressive in your house. Don't be like that because your house needs to be your paradise. Your house needs to be your kingdom, right? To where, after I close these doors, man, everything is good and we good. As long as we handling our business in here. Put it like this. If we all handle our chores in the house, let's just say for example, right? The man supposed to do the lawn, fix the pipes, if he can, or at least get it done. Paint the walls or whatever it is, take out the trash, so on and so forth. Okay. The woman, let's just say for, understanding purposes, cook the food, keep the house tidy, keep the beds tidy and all of that. Children supposed to clean up after themselves, hit the bathrooms and, making sure that, they help moms wash the clothes and prepare the meals and, keeping everything tidy and everything up. Now, if the house is like that all the time, it can only be peaceful for the man. It can only be peaceful. Okay. So let's look at this. An abusive coach is not following the owner system. If the owner says, hey, I need my team ready, tip-top shape so we can go out here and perform right every night. But if the coach is just abusing the players and running them all night long, to where when game time comes, they can't run or play, there's no way that's going to work. There's no way. Because the team's never going to beat anybody. They're going to be too tired, going to be too whooped, right? Men who dominate, manipulate, or neglect are disqualified coaches. All right? Did that make sense? It's not about being dominant. The man is already dominant over a woman. He's already dominant. Okay? There's no need to acquiesce that. There's no need for it. No need. Okay? I'm man, you woman. Hey, we moving together as a team structured marriage. Put together a situation, right? We cannot manipulate. Why? Why would you want to manipulate? This is the people you love. This is your woman. These are your children. Why do you want to manipulate them? It don't make no sense. And neglect. A lot of times, because the woman don't want to listen, you want to, oh man, you just act like she ain't there. You stop going home on time, or you just stay out, or the children need this and need that, and you just stay away. Yeah, see, that's hard and that's difficult. And I know a lot of you single mothers on here is like, oh, see, yeah, that's what such and such be doing. You know what I'm saying? That's what James be doing because, like, he don't even be around his children. Well, guess what? You separated yourself from James, from John, from Tony. You separated yourself from them. So you can't expect that man to be around now. You separated. You wanted to leave. So that situation does not fit into here. That's another nuance type situation. Okay, righteous patriarchy requires self-sacrifice, wisdom, instruction, and stewardship. It does not require, or ego is not needed, because the man has to be standing on business. And who business? The Most High business. Most High business. All right. Segment 3 of the show: why matriarchy doesn't work biblically. You might think it work in the world, but it don't. Because nothing continues. Like, think about it. If matriarchy lasts, then why is it that as soon as granny dies, we all don't come together no more? But if we followed what patriarchy, if grandpa was in that position, he said, hey, look, I'm sitting your asses down. you gonna do this, you gonna do this, and you gonna do this, and you gonna do this, and y'all gonna teach y'all children this, and y'all always gonna come together, and y'all always gonna do this. If we followed that plan, we still be kicking it together. But guess what the mothers do, the grandmothers do? They don't leave forth any instruction. They just die on. And it's just the truth when you think about it. Again, we talking objective truth over here, not subjective to your memories and your experiences and all that. Yeah, I know we all miss them. We love them. Trust me. I love Mama and Dear. I love my Nana. I love my mama, my aunties, my cousins. I love them all. Trust me. But matriarchy does not work. Okay? Now we're going to look into it. Okay? When the coach refuses to coach, the team collapses. So when a man refuses to be the man, the team collapses. So when there is no man around, the team's going to collapse. So now let's go look into Isaiah 3 and 12. It says, money lenders oppress my people, and their creditors cheat them. My people, your leaders are misleading you, so that you do not know which way to turn. Now, when you look at that, you look at it like this. Women leading the nation is a sign of judgment. Okay? That's a sign of judgment. I'm going to bring that back, and I'm going to go read that in the KJV real quick. I'm going to bring that back, and I'm going to read it in the KJV real quick. Okay? Isaiah 3 and 12 in the KJV. As for my people, children are their oppressors. As for my people, children are their oppressors. Why? Because the single mothers say, oh, you can't touch my son, you can't touch my daughter, you can't tell them how to talk and how to move and how to do. So now these children have become your oppressors. Y'all seen the video with the sister out there walking her children to school or whatever, and her children getting jumped, by these other children. The children become the oppressors, and women rule over them. So the women start to rule over their households. Oh, I want this way, I want that way. No, men have become the simps, and the women have become the pimps. They are now running and ruling the households. They're wearing the pants. Oh, my people, they which lead thee cause thee to err and destroy the way of thy paths. So women leading the nation is a sign of judgment. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. So any woman who considers herself to be a believer, Christian, Hebrew, whatever it is that you do, if you following this Bible in any capacity, you should know that you don't have a place as leadership in your home. No. In your community, yeah, there are pockets where women are teachers and help the young folks out and they got a role in there and then. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, of course. But the leader, not at all. Not at all. Let's go over to Jeremiah chapter 31 and verse 22. How long will you hesitate, faithless people? I have created something new and different as a woman protecting a man. Oh, that just, ugh. How long will you hesitate, faithless people? I have created something new and different as a woman protecting a man. Whose role is it to protect who? I just want to know. It is the man's role to protect the woman. So when we read that last part in the KJV, it says, for the Most High have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man. This is not a good thing, because the man comes first in the Most High's order. But if the woman compass the man, the people are going to fall. This is what it is. You might not like it. That's what it is. A woman compassing a man is disorder imagery. It's to imagine something being upside down. Like the Stranger Things. I know y'all watch that. I'll be watching it on Netflix. But it's the upside down. Or it's like the movie Us, right? It's the reversal of how things aren't supposed to be. But you're looking at a mirror, but you're like, this ain't right. Or you like, oh man, like everything is out of bounds. It's out of bounds. That's what it looks like. All right. Let's go to Judges chapter 4, verses 4 through 9. Now Deborah, the wife of Lapidoth, I think I said that right, was a prophet, and she was serving as a judge for the Israelites at that time. She would sit under a certain palm tree between Ramah and Bethel, in the hill country of Ephraim, and the people of Israel would go there for her decisions. One day she sent for Barak, son of Abinoam, from the city of Kadesh in Naphtali, and said to him, Most High, Yahweh, our power of Israel, has given you this command. Take 10,000 men from the tribes of Naphtali and Zebulun and lead them to Mount Tabor. I will bring Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, to fight you at the Kishon River. He will have his chariots and soldiers, but I will give you victory over him. Then Barak replied, I will go if you go with me, but if you don't go with me, I won't go either. She answered, all right, I will go with you, but you won't get any credit for the victory because Yahweh will hand Sisera over to a woman. So Deborah set off for Kadesh with Barak. All right? So this is where a lot of people get it misunderstood. But Deborah or Deborah rose because the man failed his assignment. You see, the man wasn't Madden. He wasn't doing what he's supposed to do. She had already gave him the prophecy and told him what was what. He was like, well, are you going to come with me? Or you going to come with me? Come with me. And she told her, she's like, all right, well, look, if I go, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people know that I'm a prophet. So now I'm going to get the adulation. You see what I'm saying? And that's what y'all take. Y'all take this to say, oh, well, see, Deborah, you know, she was a leader. She was leading. No, she gave a prophecy. And this dude didn't want to stand on business. He didn't want to just follow that prophecy to say, okay, because you go to a prophet to see if the Most High is in your favor, what's coming. So he's going to a prophet or prophetess, right? And now she tells him, okay, this is what the Most High said. You do this. Okay, everything's going to be cool. He still don't believe it enough. So there's some fear in him. So when the man refuses to be a man, okay, the team will collapse. So there was weakness there, all right? There was some weakness in that man at that point, especially to be a leader of men like that man was, okay? So going back to our kingdom team structure, okay? Going back to our kingdom team structure, because we got to break it down like this, okay? A star player cannot function as the coach, GM, and owner all at once. No, because a star player can only be the star player. You can't be the coach because you got to play the game. You can't be the GM because the GM is worried about ticket sales, worried about how everybody's looking at everything, worrying about, the optics of how the team looks, what the media is saying and all that. That's and then the owner is looking over it all to make sure all the ends is being met on everything. Okay, the bottom line. All right, the woman is the engine, not the steering wheel. Okay, she's the engine. She's not the steering wheel. And what do you have to do with the engine? You got to take care of the engine. You got to listen to the engine. Okay, the engine is, okay, cool. Because without the engine, the car don't run. But with the steering wheel, it ain't go. You don't know where it's going. If there ain't no steering wheel, go right off the cliff. So stop trying to take the steering wheel. You the engine. I'm gonna make sure you got oil, make sure you got tune up, make sure you got new serpentine belt, new alternator, new radiator, new spark plugs, all these things, new gasket, all these things. Make sure you got all these things. Now if I make sure you got all these things, why are you still whining? You know what I'm saying? So matriarchy forces women to carry burdens they weren't designed for. That's the problem with feminism. That's the problem with being a feminist. And that's the problem with matriarchy. You're trying to take leadership roles that biologically, those burdens, you can't deal with. You cannot deal with those things. There are not many women that can do those things. Yes, there are some that can, but by and large, they can't. So for a woman to come out here and be in a leadership role and say all women can do it, you're a liar. You're a liar. You're a one-off, okay? And what you're doing is you're feeding the people something that's poisonous to their nation, to their household, to their community, to their team, all right? Every biblical example of matriarchy is collapse, judgment, or weakness, all right? Even that situation with Deborah, there was a collapse somewhere, right? Or a weakness somewhere. Then on the man's part. Because even her as a prophetess, she should have said, nah, I got to stay. And she should have told him to gird his loins, act like a man, gird your loins, and get on out there and buck, boy. You know what I'm saying? That's what she should have said. Segment 4. We coming up on an hour, y'all. Segment 4. The woman as the star player. Come on now, ladies. Y'all the star player. You the franchise. You the franchise in this thing, okay? Men lead the mission. women multiply the mission. I'm going to say it again. Women multiply the mission that the man gave them. You multiply, you the star. Come on now. And the children inherit the mission. Come on. Come on. What we talking about? So if the man, let's say a man brought you one mission, then the woman, she multiplied it to 3. Now the children inherit 3 missions. Come on, what are we doing? What are we doing here? So we're going to go to, dang, where did I go? Where did I go? Oh, so if y'all go look at Proverbs chapter 31, now we all know about it at least, but it's crazy because most women really haven't really read it. They just echo what other women are talking about. They regurgitate it, but they haven't really read it. But it is a powerhouse woman that this is talking about. Proverbs 31 is talking about a powerhouse type of woman who produces results under righteous order. That woman ain't just doing what she want, how she want, and she just, I'm just independent woman doing my, no, everything that Proverbs 31 woman is doing, she's under order of a coach, of a head, of a man. That's what it is. You might not like it, and I don't give a damn. Now we're going back to Sirach, the game guidebook, okay, in the Apocrypha, to Sirach chapter 26, verses 13 through 16. A gracious wife or woman is her husband's or man's delight. Her abilities make him a stronger man. So a woman who continuously shows gratitude, she's his delight. She's a man's delight. Let the man know that you are grateful for him. You gracious. Yes, her abilities make him a stronger man. What she's actually able to do, she ain't walking around talking about how good, bad she is. She's just doing it. She's doing all of the things. And it's making him stronger. It's making him better. She's actually adding more talents and abilities. She's getting better. He's getting even better, right? A woman who doesn't talk too much is a gift from the Most High. You women always feel like you got to have the last say. You think you're better and smarter than a man because you went to college, even though that's statistics that's saying that y'all are more educated than men. That's a lie. No, a lot of you go to college, but a lot of you still don't graduate, okay? And even the ones that do graduate, you still don't know anything. Okay, a lot of y'all have meaningless degrees, right? But let's get back on topic, right? A woman who doesn't talk too much is a gift from the Most High. You need to be silent more than you're talking, because you need to be learning. Just like the woman in the podcast with the pop the balloon, she said she wants to learn and observe the man because she's going and stepping into his world. So you need to be quiet more than you're talking, so you can understand how he operates, how he thinks, what he talks about, how he talks, all these things. You need to be quiet. That doesn't say shut up, right? But if you are getting belligerent and all that stuff, yeah, the man will say shut the hell up. Shut up. Because you're being out of pocket. Again, that is now, going back to what we read before, that is now the results of your disrespect, the results of your sin, the results of your bad behavior that the man is now projecting, right? So the blessing is that a woman or a wife who doesn't talk too much, right? Such restraint is admirable beyond words. To restrain yourself from talking is admirable, okay? A modest woman, a modest wife, has endless charm. A modest woman, modest in her speech, modest in the way she dresses. She ain't taking selfies every damn day. She ain't got her cleavage all out. She ain't got her ass all out wearing tight pants and short this and short that, showing all her legs, all of her top and her back and all that. No, she's not doing that. She has endless charm. It is a quality too precious to measure. You would not believe how many, just growing up, with my friends going to their houses, and you'd be surprised how many young men be having crushes on their partner's moms and stuff like that, because the woman, the mother, auntie or whatever, she's just so modest, and that modesty is attractive to all men. All men. We like, oh man, I wish you was my mom. That's why brothers call they partners' moms and stuff like that. That's where that came from. Hey, auntie, what's up, auntie? Because her modest spirit is so welcoming. That's what you always want around, right? A modest wife has endless charm. It is a quality too precious to measure. The beauty of a good wife or woman in her well-kept home is like the noonday shining in the Most High sky. Beauty of a good woman in her well-kept home. So I mean, her house is clean, it's put together, it's not messy, everything has its place. You go in there, she just so welcoming and you know, inviting and hospitable. You know, you ever been in them people's houses where, you know, you go over there and, you know, the wife or, you know, the woman in the house, she always just like, hey, can I get you anything? She always, you know, always cooking up something and got something ready for you. Yeah, man, those are the most pleasant houses to be in. Pleasant houses to be in. But women, y'all get away with this and y'all act. A lot of y'all act because you might could cook. So you always doing this or you always doing that, but that's not how you are when that company leave. You just acting like that because you know company is there. You need to be like this all the time. You need to be like this all the time just with your man. Right? Just with your man, you need to be like this. This is what needs to happen. Okay? A wise woman strengthens the entire team, the entire house. Food need to be done. Okay? She making sure that it's done and it's not even an issue. She tell the babies, we got to make sure dad eat. We got to make sure your dad eat. We got to make sure he eat first. Because he the one out there working for us and grinding for us and ready to put his life on the line for us. And then they eat. And nobody's complaining. Nobody's complaining. Because guess what? The man wants to hurry and get home rather than taking long all day. So he going to try to find a job to where he could be home by sunset. So he can eat with his family and get that first plate. He wants to be. Okay? Let's go to Genesis 24:60. It says, and they gave Rebekah their blessing in their words. It says, may you, sister, become the mother of millions. May your descendants conquer the cities of their enemies. All right, a righteous woman becomes the mother of thousands. Now, I got to touch on Mary and all of that too. So I'm gonna jump on over because I want to give y'all flowers to the women that are really handling their business, and I want to give y'all some encouragement with this portion right here of the show. Again, a righteous woman becomes the mother of thousands. Why? Because what she's pouring into the world, how she's following her leadership and her role as the star team player, she's putting that into the children that are not only coming out of her, but the people that are around her. Right, so I'm gonna go break down some things real quick, and I'm gonna just skim through it. I'm not gonna read everything that I got on it, but so first, you know, we read about Rebekah, right? In Genesis 24:60, right? And Rebekah is prophetically blessed as a mother of multitudes, okay? Pointing beyond biology to covenant fruitfulness because she's keeping the virtues. She's following the order in which the covenant says that the woman should be doing, okay? Now, like I said, talking about Mary, okay? Mary is what? Chosen for virtue and obedience. So now when y'all go into Luke in chapter 1, right, it says, you will conceive in your womb and bring forth a son, and of his kingdom there will be no end. So she's getting blessed the same type of way, you know, as Rebekah, right? Because the kingdom, the mother of multitudes, right? You see I'm putting this together, right? So in verse 38, it says, behold, the maidservant of the Lord, let it be to me according to your word. So just like Rebekah, Mary's virtue and obedience opened the way for Yahweh's redemptive lineage. Because again, it's the character of these women, the character of the women. That's why the Most High is choosing these certain type of women. He's not choosing all the women. No, it's these type of women. So women, I encourage y'all to be like these sisters. Be like these sisters. Follow the instructions of the Bible, not what you want, okay? Mary was blessed above all women. Ain't that what it says in Luke chapter 1? Right? It says, blessed are you among women, right? In verse 42, blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb. So she's blessed among all women, right? The blessing echoes covenant fruitfulness, just like Rebekah's, right? Connecting her back to the covenant, right? Mary was also a spiritual mother, right? So when we go to John 19, it says, woman, behold your son, behold your mother, right? The Messiah entrusts Mary to the beloved disciple. Because again, why is it the Most High chose her to have the Messiah? Why? Because the spirit that's on her. So symbolically extending her motherhood to his followers. A mother of multitude of nations. You know what I'm saying? Multitude of generations, rather. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to use this to encourage y'all, right? So the Messiah, he produces many righteous children out of his mother, producing these children, right? So in Isaiah 53, it says, when you make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. So the Messiah brought forth by Mary produces many spiritual children. And that's an extension of Rebecca, right? It's an extension of Rebecca, right? Then the disciples multiply righteousness. So those spiritual children, not to call it spiritual as in, being spiritual Israel, let's not get that confused, but it's the spirit that goes through them because the blood of the people, right, is connecting. And this blood is tied in with the blood, and then the spirit hits it as well. So the spiritual children. So the disciples, which are Israelites as well, of the blood, right? Okay. So in Matthew 28:19, it says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations," right? Meaning, put your spirit out there. Let your light shine before men and show them who you truly are, right? So through the Messiah's disciples, Mary's son fills the earth with righteousness. This is what it's supposed to be. This is what it's supposed to look like, okay? Spiritual offspring of the promise, when we go to Galatians 3:29, right? It says, if you are the Messiah, Yahushua, then you are Abraham's seed. Why would it say that? Well, because it's going back to Rebecca, Abrahamic promise, down to Mary, down to the Messiah, and then to the believers being multiplied. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but I'm trying to walk y'all down because it hit me when I was going through all my notes and stuff. So I was like, nah, I gotta drop this. I gotta drop this in here, right? So, and then the last part I want to look at is the woman and her offspring. The woman and her offspring. So in Revelations 12:17, it says, the rest of her offspring who keep the commandments of Yahweh and hold the testimony of the Messiah. The rest of her offspring? Usually we go to, Revelations 14:12. But how many times y'all look at this part right here, right? So the rest of her offspring who keep the commandments of Yahweh and hold the testimony of Yahusha, right? So this is a final image of a woman whose offspring are the faithful. So I just want to use that to just encourage sisters that you renewing your mind, circumcising your heart, right? No, it does not ever, ever, ever put you in leadership. No, but it puts you in a great, glorious standing with the Most High, with our Father. So that's where you truly, truly, truly want to be. Now let's get back to the show. So the star player executes the strategies the coach calls. Okay? So the man says, hey, y'all, this is what we doing. This is what's going on. It's the play we going to run. You're going to shoot that in the corner for the 3. The woman being the star player is like, okay, I'm coming off that pick. I'm going to make this back cut. Come off the double pick. I'll be in the corner waiting for the ball. That's what it's supposed to look like, okay? She is the force of production, management, nurturing, and expansion. This is what she does. When it's time to produce, what does she do? The man gives her seed, she produces the children, right? The man leaves back forth the instructions before he leaves the house. She begins the management to see, okay, what goes where, who should be doing what, right? And then she has the nurturing, right? She's doing that from the time of birth. She's doing that, she's learning that, or she should be learning that from her mother, right? How to nurture, how to be soft, feminine, right? Not masculine, not being a feminist, right? But learning how to be nurturing and expansion. So she expands things, right? That also plays back into having the children. By having the children, the family expands. So by it expanding, now we have more sisters around us coming around to help. Now we have more of her spirit pouring out into the house, because guess what? The man has put his spirit into her, so now she is multiplying and expanding the mission. Are y'all keeping up with the show? Let's go. Okay, so without her, the coach cannot win. Okay, without the woman, the man doesn't even have a team, because there's no star player to run the team, right? Without the coach, she cannot be positioned to win. So without a coach, she's not playing for anybody, and there is no way to get to the championship because she's not signed up on a team. So she has to get on a team. So that means she got to link up with the coach. Her position is one of honor. Sisters, women, your position is an honorable position. It's excellent and spiritual power. It's not servitude, meaning it's not slavery, even though we are all in servitude positions. All of us are in servitude positions. But what I'm trying to say is it's not slavery. So stop thinking that submission is slavery. That's not it at all. All right. Let's go over into segment 5 of the show. The man as the coach. Accountability, vision, and execution. All right. That's what we're looking at. We're going into Genesis 18 and 19. I have chosen him in the order that he may command his sons and his descendants to obey me, to do what is right and just. The Most High says he has chosen this man, okay, Abraham, in order. So remember who's the head. It's the Most High's word is the head of man. So his word, he has chosen him. So then the man is following the order of his word that he may command his sons and his descendants to obey his word, to do what is right and just. Are we following? If they do, I will do everything for him that I have promised. So now, by doing these things, he now gets his reward, but he has to stay diligent, okay? So the Most High Yahweh, he loved Abraham because he would instruct his house. How would he instruct his house? By what some nigga on the street told him? By some good game that, this pastor told him? No. Or what the college told him? No. It was by the order of the Most High. That's why the Most High loved Abraham to begin with, because he's instructing his house to do what the Most High said to do. So Abraham is following the word because that's his head, just like we read in 1 Corinthians 11. All right? Now we're going back into Sirach, into the Apocrypha, chapter 30, verses 1 through 5. A father who loves his son will whip him often, so that he can be proud of him later. So why is the father whipping the son often? Because that's the self-discipline we read about earlier. So I have to teach my sons in self-discipline, meaning if you mess up, I'm going to correct you once. After that, you're getting a whooping so you can understand it. We don't do this wrong. We fix this and we move along. We fix this and we move along. All right? This is what this is for. So you understand that when you come to a problem that you need to hurry up and self-correct that so you don't keep making the mistakes over and over. This is why the world is so tore up now, because you have a bunch of men who are being raised by women that do not carry that same self-discipline, okay? No, I had to learn everything the hard way because I was raised by my mama. And no, she wasn't always there to whoop me. Yeah, she did whoop me and all that, but shit, I was on my own a lot. And through that, I had to learn and get whooped by the Most High, even though I didn't know that was the Most High, but I was getting whooped by the Most High because I'm making dumbass choices. So then it led me to keep getting my ass whooped. And then once I started to learn, I was like, yep, not doing that shit again, right? But that's what a father does to his son. Just like it says, the Lord chastens, he whoops, he disciplines those who he loves. Boom, just like what this says. Verse 2, if a son is disciplined, he will be of some use, and his father can boast of him to his friends. So when I discipline my son, and now he starts to follow and move and discipline, and his character starts to move as a disciplined, stoic man, right? Now I can brag to my friends because, yeah, my son can do it. Oh, no, man, my son know how to do it. Y'all ever see some young men who just been training with their dad or learning from their dad to where, like, they just so on point? They just so on point. That's a beautiful thing to see. If you got daughters, you like, shit, man, I can't wait till y'all get older, man. Please take my daughter, please, because you moving in righteousness, right? That's just how you feel. I know that's how I feel. I felt like this before I even came to the knowledge of the scriptures, right? Before I came to the Most High, for real, for real. I've always felt like this. It's just beautiful, right? Verse 3, anyone who gives good guidance to his son cannot only take pride in him among his friends, but he can make his enemies jealous. How do you make your enemies jealous? Well, because they know that they're not that diligent in their own house. So if they're your enemies, even your son will be able to defeat them. Because they know that they're not raising their sons like this. And they see that your son is another version of you. He's a duplicate of you. Matter of fact, he's better than you because he's not slipping where you slipped. You're teaching him all straight righteous game, righteous knowledge. You're just pouring it all into him, right? Verse 4 and 5. While the father is alive, the sight of his son makes him happy. And when he dies, he has no regrets. He is not really dead because his son is like him. This is the power of a father. This is the power of a man, his legacy. Because if I teach this into my children, they will go off and be versions of me. And if I make sure that my daughter is married off into a sensible man who carries some of the same characteristics or even better characteristics than me, that's even better for my daughter and her protection. We have to understand how the Bible is talking, y'all. This patriarchy is not against you, sisters. It's for you, right? So fatherly guidance builds legacy. This is what it needs. So I know in my situation, I was actually pushed away from my children because I stand on this. I stand on this, okay? I'm trying to teach y'all in a way that's going to help y'all to grow and be way better than me, right? But if we want to, you want to coddle and you want to hold hands and stuff and kumbaya, okay, all right, there's going to be some disappointment coming because you have not prepared them for our death. You have not prepared them for tough times. You just keep coddling them and holding their hand. But it's all good because the Most High is going to change everything in his time. Let's go over to 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. Everything must be done in a proper and orderly way, in decency and in order. Everything. Everything's got to be done this way, y'all. Everything. It has to have strategy, right? Which is in a decent way. It has to be strategized, and it has to be in order. It has to be. That's the only way that the team is going to be able to get a win, let alone a championship, right? Let's go over to Colossians chapter 3 and verse 19. Husbands, men, love your wives or your women, and do not be harsh with them, right? Do not be bitter against them, right? Because if you understand some things, and this is stuff that, I had to learn later too. Sometimes you just need to just be quiet and separate yourself. Just be quiet and separate yourself. The silence is going to help them understand more, especially if they're trying to be better. If the women are trying to be better, your silence is better. So you don't need to be harsh towards them, okay? And I know I've reacted harsh. I reacted as that lion in the house. And I was wrong for that. For sure I was wrong for that. You better believe I was wrong for that, okay? And so coaching with love and not harshness is way better, okay? You got to serve that honey on the plate because this is supposed to be the woman you love, right? So we got to be softer, right? We got to be softer. But sisters, you can't tell the man how he needs to be soft. You need to be vulnerable enough so where he understands and learns you. But most women walk around with the shield on because they've been hurt so much, right? That they always feel like they got to be this way or that way. When it's like, okay, this is where a relationship and a marriage, a family needs to really understand this. You have to be vulnerable with each other so you can learn this man, so that man can learn you as the woman. We need to learn each other so then we can see what as far as being harsh, right, or bitter. We can see what lines, okay, yeah, don't cross that line, right? Because with the other lady that you was dealing with, you could have crossed that line, right? But and it wouldn't been considered harsh. So like if you deal with a chick in the hood, right? There's all kinds of disrespect that's going on, which is toxic. But you can say some things and do some things that she don't consider to be harsh or bitter, versus a woman who's been taught right or taught better or raised different or whatever, right? Not to say all women raised in the hood is bad, but I'm just saying, just to give you an example. These things have to be sought out and measured, but both people have to be vulnerable to a place to where the other person can learn you, right? To where that man or that woman can actually learn who you are and how to deal with you for real. But if you holding up these walls and then, you hard all the time, and then when a man tries to deal with you softly, now you taking him as a punk. But then you really want him to be like that with you, but you always showing different. That's confusion, right? And that's gonna throw things out of whack, and that's gonna throw the imbalance off the team, and there ain't gonna be no chemistry. Okay, so the coach calls the plays. All right, I'm setting it up for y'all. The coach calls the plays. He sets the tone. Okay, and he watches film. Right? What is this film? It's the Torah. So I'm gonna watch our lives. I'm gonna watch what's going on here. I'm gonna see where it lines up with the law, with the Bible, and in the parts where it doesn't line up with the Bible, we're gonna go fix those things. That's the practice, right? We're gonna work on those things, right? And then leads with discipline. So the discipline of here, okay, of the Bible. So we're gonna do it this way, right? It says his leadership is sacrificial. It's not domineering. Okay, so his leadership is to say, well, you know what? I'm going to do it first. I'm going to sacrifice and do this first, and then you follow. All right, you follow. That's why I say, sisters, if you chose a man who won't bullshit, that's your fault. That's your fault. Now you can't start being a bitch and then acting like it's okay. No, because now he's gonna have to come back and correct you because he's been watching film, right? He's been watching film on the star player. His success is measured in how he elevates his star player and team. So if I'm able to do what I'm supposed to do, you benefit from this. Me doing my job as the coach, as the man, as the leader, it benefits you. You can live in peace, right? Even if I'm out here busting my ass and I'm hurting all the shit, but you get to live in peace. Children get to live in peace. Clean home. Everything's done. You know, whatever y'all vision of your home looks like, or his home that he wants for y'all to be in looks like, right? This is what it is, right? Because that's what it's measured in, right? Because if he's not taking care of his house, then what does that look like? Right? So brothers, y'all got to get on your job, right? A strong coach, a strong man produces strong sons and strong daughters. Not strong daughters like, oh, she independent, oh, she can do for herself. No, strong as in following this. They get their strength from this discipline. They get their understanding from here. So where they're strong-minded, strong-spirited, and cannot easily be broken. So the daughters will know that, okay, sometimes, you know, man might get frustrated, but he may not know what I know. So from what my dad told me, I got to be solid and lead and show him by my conduct and my character. And then this man will soften up. Boom, that's strength, because now you withholding your tongue. You're not talking too much. You're not trying to be, you're not trying to compete and dominate with the man, right? You're not trying to be a partner. Everybody catch on? Let's keep on moving. So in segment 6 of the show, we're looking at why biblical patriarchy works and worldly patriarchy fails. So now here's the difference, women, sisters, that y'all always falling into, and y'all always try to kind of convolute and kind of compare when it does not compare at all, right? So let's start off with worldly patriarchy. First, there's abuse. That's what you always hear about. And the one that get really misconstrued is verbal abuse, even though there is, you know what I'm saying, being repeatedly being called a bitch just for any old thing, not just for just being a self-willed woman, but, you know, let's go clean my car. Let's go do this. Go do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, that's verbal abuse. Don't tolerate that. That's out of bounds and out of pocket, right? Separate yourself, you know what I'm saying, for a while and so on and so forth. And then, you know, until he get his shit right, because he's tripping, right? But you also got the physical abuse, which is the one we're most likely talking about, right? Physical abuse, right? That's out of pocket and out of bounds because men abuse their authority that they're given by the Most High. You abuse it by actually abusing the women who are actually wanting to be there. Shit, they're there. You women are there. So men, if this is you, you need to repent. You need to rebuke those spirits inside of you that are telling you to do this, that it's okay to do this, okay? We do not tolerate this over here at the Neighborhood Hebrews. The Bible don't tolerate it, none of this shit, all right? So we got to get this right, right? Your ego, get your ego checked. Get that out the door, because if your ego is inside, then that means there's not enough room for you to actually analyze and be the proper coach that you need to be, right? Control. Now, yes, there is righteous control and unrighteous control. Now, if you just coming in just so you can control everything, nah, it's probably not gonna go that way, because with the order that you already got from the Most High, you already got the control. Now you just need to, okay, I'm gonna set forth the rules. That's what we're doing. Right? Anytime disrespect comes up, that's what we're doing. We're going to check that. But if you are being overly controlling to a point to where people feel like, you know, because, you know, we got to talk about the feelings we come to these women. When they feel like they're being treated as slaves and they can't do this, they're locked in prison and all that stuff. Yes, that's way different from actually just laying ground rules and guidelines. Right? So we have to understand what control is and how not to abuse that, right? Domination. So this is not about being dominant over you, right? A man already knows physically he can kill a woman. He can unalive a woman with his bare hands. A man knows this, but to use and come from this animalistic type of place, this primal way of thinking, and then like enforce that over the woman that's actually showing some insecurity and some lack in you as a man. So, and intimidation. If you feel like you have to intimidate, and women, y'all feel like a man will intimidate or is being intimidating when he raises his voice. That's not so. But I do understand and I do know what it is when a man is actually trying to be intimidating, pushing intimidation just to scare you into doing whatever it is, to get whatever it is that he may want out of you. And that's disrespectful and wrong. So men, if you walking in any of these spirits, hey, come get some counseling. I'm here. Hey, we're going to rebuke that abuse, ego, control, domination, and intimidation spirits out of you. We're going to rebuke that. You're going to repent from them, and we're going to help rebuild your house. If it is, in fact, still a house, we're going to help you get it right, because that's not what these women need as far as patriarchs to lead their family into your lineage, right? Now, biblical patriarchy. What does that look like? Love. But what's the definition of love? So you have compassion, right? Kindness, right? There's no aggression, there's no bitterness, right? None of that. But on the opposite, not the opposite side, but in the same token, same breath, it's correction. Because if you don't love something, do you care to that if it's all right or not? If it's okay or not? No, you don't care. You don't. Because you don't love it. So you don't care if it lives or dies, if it's good or not. No, you don't. So correction is needed, okay, in that love. Sacrifice. You got to be willing to sacrifice. You got to be willing to say, you know what, I'm going to do it first. I'm going to put this back so we can reach our goals and do whatever it is we got to do. And it's not for her. It's for the team. It's for the kingdom, right? This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the team to the kingdom, to the championship. In order to do that, you're going to have to sacrifice, all right? Provision. So you got to have provisions, meaning that even if you're not rich, even if you don't have what society says they think you should have, because we don't give a shit about what society talking about anyway. Biblically, you just have to have enough to take care of. Now, mind you, our people, we always have made a way on very little. So a man can actually make it on very little. He just needs to have a woman who's going to follow him even when he has a very little. And guess what? Stand behind his purpose and his mission and multiply it. Don't sit behind complaining, talking about this and that. Woman, your ass chose to be with him. You need to shut your mouth and follow along, right? Just like I told them men, they need to shut their mouth. They need to fix their corrections, all the things that they're doing wrong. They need to fix that shit too. You got to do the same thing when you have a biblical man who's leading in front of you and you still being a bitch. You feel me? That's when it comes to play, because you're being self-willed. You're not moving as the Bible says. You're moving as you want to move, right? Accountability. A man always has to stand in accountability. If he messed up, he has to understand the teachings of his father or the teachings of the Bible that says, hey, look, if I messed up, I need to fix it. But not only do I need to fix it, I need to research and look around and watch others. And if they messed up, I need to learn from their mistakes, because that's what a wise man does, right? Humility. A lot of men have went through heartache, humiliation in their lives. And we need to always remember that and stay humble. We are not better than any damn thing. You ain't better than nothing. Yes, the Bible calls us a nation of kings and priests, but damn it, what have you been a king of? What have you produced? What have you created for the kingdom? What have you created even for your household? What have you created even for your last name? What have you done? These are things that you must think on. All right, let's go over to Matthew. Let's go over to Matthew chapter 20, verses 25 to 28. So Yahushua called them all together and said, you know that the rulers of the heathen have power over them, and the leaders have complete authority. This, however, is not the way it shall be among you. If one of you wants to be great, you must be the servant of the rest. Humility. If one of you wants to be great, you must be the servant of the rest. So the best leader is also the best follower. Okay? He's the best servant. So you got to be willing to serve, because everything that a man's doing anyway is for his household. So a man is actually serving his household. So you got to be the best. So go be the best, right? And if one of you wants to be first, you must be the slave of the others. So if you want to be at the front so bad, first learn what it's like to be at the back, the very end, the grunt work. Learn there if you want to be first, and then build up. That's why, you have people that have more success in their careers or more success in their life when they started from the bottom up, because every step they felt it. It built them, it gave their character lessons, and they learned different things to become greater all along the way, right? Verse 28, like the Son of Man, who did not come to be served. This is why I always tell y'all, the Messiah did not come to be served, but to serve, to give his life to redeem many people. So this is how a man must lead. You have to come with the mindset of wanting to serve, not be no simp, not be no dumbass. Come out here ready to serve, ready to have a plan, ready to execute it, ready to serve the people, ready to serve your family, your household. They need something, you make sure you get on that shit. Don't be out here trying to get it for your boys and for your congregations and this and that before you get it for your household. No, you get it for your household. You make sure your household is straight. And if they straight, you're going to be great. Okay? This is what this looks like. So I'm just trying to give y'all just a little bit. I'm really enjoying this here show today. This is just so beautiful. But we're gonna conclude it, y'all. We're gonna conclude it and we're gonna wrap it up with a couple scriptures and I'm gonna get up out of here. All right. So we're going to Psalm chapter 133 and verse 1. How wonderful it is, how pleasant for Yahweh's people to live together in harmony. And you know we're gonna get out the KJV. Uh-oh. Let's go back. Try to do it with my computer was tripping. So it says, behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. U-N-I-T-Y. And we get this beautiful feeling. We get this unity that flows and sticks together and stays together when we're all moving in order with the belief is in the Most High's word. You might do it a little differently over there, a little different over there, but if we rocking with this right here, we are golden. If you hear what I'm talking about, we're going right back to Sirach, chapter 25 and verse 1. In the GNT, it says, there are three things in which I take special delight, things that are beautiful to the Most High and people alike. Brothers who get along with each other. Men, we must get along with each other because this is how we build. Not one of you men by yourself can do everything in your mission and in your plan by yourself, me included. All right. Neighbors who are friends. So families, this means not only do brothers get along, but as neighbors, y'all build and live near each other, right? And your families connect and y'all become friends. Now, the scriptures say that the friend is closer than a brother, right? So that means you got tight knit around you and with you, right? It says in a married couple who are happy together. So now the woman, she sees that this man has this brotherhood where they tight, right? And she sees how he, submits to brothers and serves brothers and serves his household, with her and the children and stuff like that. And then guess what? She pours that through the children and they go do the same thing and y'all spread that love with the neighbors. So she sees all of that. She builds with all of that. She loves all of that. Trust me. Because, a woman loves to see a man who is admired, especially if, she belongs to that man. That's a beautiful thing, right? And a man and a woman in proper order please the Most High. What order is that? That's not agreeing in everything and on everything as far as what she may think. It's the fact that you guys agree in the Most High's word and following what it says. And if you do that, you're going to be straight. Y'all going to have some ups and downs, but that's okay. As long as y'all stick here and don't give up on sticking with the covenant that y'all made with each other, y'all going to be A-okay. Now we're going right back to the first verse that we started with in the first place. 1 Corinthians 11 and 3. But I want you to understand that Yahusha is supreme over every man, which is the word, over every man. That the man or the husband is supreme over his wife, over his woman. See how it says his woman, okay? Because that's his woman. That's his woman. His woman, his wife. And Yahweh is supreme over Yahusha. So there's an order to things. And we need to get back to the order. That's what actual patriarchy looks like. That's what it looks like. All right? So the final message I want to leave for y'all before I close out of this here show, I appreciate y'all for sliding in and tapping on in with your boy. All right? The Bible is a patriarchal book. And it pushes patriarchy because Yahweh designed order. That's what he did. Not because men invented dominance. No, it really ain't got nothing to do with the man. It got everything to do with the Most High Yahweh's plan. When the owner, GM, coach, star player, and team operate in their rightful positions, the household becomes a championship dynasty. Everybody has to play and do their role. No crossing over. There ain't no wearing double hats. Nah, none of that. But when roles blur or reverse, chaos follows. So men, hey, you're supposed to be the ones who are independent for your family, but dependent on the Messiah, on his word, on the Most High's word. Women get away from independence and depend on your man and put that encouragement and confidence into him that you believe in all of his steps, that you trust in all of his words, that you trust in everything that he does, because you are supposed to respect him and honor him and serve him and submit to him as if he was the Messiah. Okay? Righteous patriarchy builds nations. This is what it does. It builds the people. It builds our communities. It builds our neighborhoods. It builds our families. It builds our legacy and it keeps the legacy going. All right? Disorder destroys them. So we got to move in order and not in disorder. All right? Y'all know who it is. It's your neighborhood Hebrew. Peace, grace, and mercy. From me to you, may y'all continue to follow the Most High Yahweh in all things that you do in Yahushua's name, guided by that Ruach to keep you the same. Shalom, shalom.